What's a secret you can only share with online strangers? Sometimes when my medical issues are acting up I can't even remember my husband's name. I know who he is, but it's like the data is corrupted and my brain is returning unknown error instead of name. I get transient aphasia with my migraines. It's an awful feeling, and I'm sorry you have to deal with it. Not much of a secret, but my dad lied about having a family to my mom. My dad is still in the picture, but we are like the secondary family. It took 25 years for me to finally meet one of my brothers from my dad's side. He seems to be the only one who half-heartedly wanted to meet me. The rest don't seem to care too much about my existence. Never told my parents I had stage 1 cancer. Both were barely sober and would have jumped off the wagon head first. Brightside doc got it all edit. Thank you for the awards and thank you all. Close bracket. Glad you beat cancer. I know that must have been a hard decision to make, but it was probably for the better to not tell them. Thank you, and yeah, my best friend was with me through it. In turn we ended up married, so it ended up a happy story. About 10 years ago, I stole my bully's phone and threw it off a building. He still doesn't know what happened to his phone. This reminds me of when I was 12 and I hid a kid's bike helmet so he couldn't bike home from school, since the school's policy was that all kids were to wear a helmet if they were to ride to and from school. I ended up fessing up to it though sadly and gave him his helmet back after a week. When I was with my host family, it was honestly the only year of my life I felt like a part of a family. I miss them so much. That's really touching. Sometimes we think our family lives are normal until we experience another way. Anyhow, I'm sure they miss you too. I obsess about being able to start life over in another time, to the point where I feel this life is not worth bothering about. I always thought the coolest thing in USA is that one day you can get up and decide I'm going to move to this state and you don't even have to tell anybody if you don't want to. Well, except if you're a parent or are in debt. I have friends that have paid me to record them having sex. I kind of dislike my best friend. We've known each other a long time and we're both in unfortunate circumstances, but him trying to change mine. He isn't trying to change his. He just rages about how unfair his life is. I've offered all the help I can, but he never takes me up on it, and being his shoulder to cry on can be exhausting. He can be a very negative person, and so can I, but him trying to be less so. But it's easy to slip back into negativity when I'm around him. It's all very frustrating sometimes. Edit. Thank you so much for the award. A big hug back to everyone who has given me advice and or been in a similar situation. It's okay to break up with a friend. We don't have language or processes for it like we do for romantic relationships, but we should. I can attest to this. I always remind myself of the quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." I find this to be true most of the time. I feel relieved whenever I get sick. I have major depression and anxiety problems, and being physically ill is just something people understand better. I don't know how to explain it. Edit. Holy shit. I didn't honestly think this many people could relate. It's comforting I'm not alone, but also makes me feel sad. Check on your friends. Friends, we aren't doing okay. It's like the physical illness justifies the ducked feelings. You have a reason to feel bad, to stay in bed, to need people around. It gives you also something else to worry about. Something present and real. I have never heard it explained this way, but wow, that hit me. It's so relieving to see that someone else has this experience. I'm inadvertently ruining my marriage because I'm terrified I'm going to ruin it. You should definitely bring this up with your partner and talk about therapy for you. I had a tendency to do this too. You are more than deserving of a good marriage and a happy life. I created multiple accounts on Reddit to upvote my husband's writing and r/writing prompts to motivate him to continue to write. This is the most wholesome comment in this thread. Thank you. I do feel a little scummy when I log into the free accounts because I don't like lying to him, but I think he needs the motivation to continue. My mother's last words. as she lay dying in our house where I'm scared. This has ducked me up. Bad. And I can't tell anyone I know because I don't want to duck them up too. I understand it if you don't want to answer this. But what happened? It was a normal night. We said goodnight and I went off to bed. 5 minutes later I heard her scream help. I ran downstairs. She said she couldn't breathe. I thought she was having panic attack, but called for the ambulance. Next thing I know she said that. Then she's turning purple. Then the noise and boom. Gone. Turned out she had a pulmonary embolism. 20 minutes start to finish, and I still have flashbacks. Can't hear those words without an anxiety attack, and had nightmares every night for a year afterwards. Don't know how I'm going to survive now without stepdad. Died Saturday. Things just hurt so much. It will get better, but take your time. I felt the same when my mother died, but I'm still here. Thanks to everything she taught me. Even after death, the people you love stay with you. I wish you lots of strength. I have no motivation to do anything. I do the same thing every day, so I get bored. But then I can't be bothered to start doing something productive. Struggled with same thing for years. Finally did talk about it, and they found out I have depression. Now I'm working on myself. And I'm already more productive most of the times. Don't only talk to online strangers about it, but IRL. It's a negative loop that's hard to break. Can you have depression just due to the motivation issue without any emotional issues? I don't feel sad usually, but am so unmotivated. I also have ADHD, which sometimes ties into depression, but I never thought I had it. I've got PTSD from when my mom choked the shit out of me at age 7. I thought I deserved it. I've cut off all ties with family and friends to be alone for the rest of my life. I've honestly been the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. If you aren't happy with them in your life, then they shouldn't be in your life. Yeah, so I left my kid at the McDonald's. That I'm afraid to get married because I don't have many friends that would come to the wedding. This is why I'm waiting as well. My so would have so many friends there, and I would have a maximum of 2. Just ensure that there is not groom seating on one side of the church and bride seating on the other, and then nobody knows. Or have a wedding at the Justice of the Peace / courthouse. I was on a local game show and the answers to the questions were written in the back of the card. I could read every answer. I do kegels whenever I'm waiting at a stoplight. That's not that embarrassing, dude. It's not that it's embarrassing. But I don't tell anyone I know IRL because I don't want them to think about my pussy every time we are driving together and hit a red light. Still stupidly in love with my ex. Heart still jumps when I hear her name. As a kid, I blew up my hearing aid in the microwave trying to dry it when it got wet. OMG, I'm so sorry about the experience, but at the same time this made me laugh so much. I learned so much about microwaves that day. Hiding the evidence from my stressed out working single mum was the real challenge. I introduced my friend to the medication I'm pretty sure ultimately killed her, but we have no proof. I'm playing a Russian roulette in these comments. I've heard of the horse ducking guy at least 3 times already, but still haven't seen it. Every comment I read gets me closer, but I don't know when it will come. If you find him, check his comment history. Ducking 3 years worth of comments about horses. Either a ultimate troll or serious. I really don't know. I'm 29 years old, and for the first time in my life I don't hate myself anymore. Feels like a real weird thing to tell people in my life. I was around 29 before I ever felt comfortable in my skin. It's just gotten better from there. I'm glad you don't hate yourself anymore, and I hope your life just continues to get better and better. Anyone who just tuned in, a guy ducked a horse in this thread. Friends and coworkers know me as someone who always dresses nicely, but I don't do it out of any genuine love for fashion. Just trying to compensate for feeling below average attractive. I usually tend to dress like a slob because I can't wear nice clothes to work, and I really don't care all that much usually lol. I'll tell you what though. I had to wear a suit today for an appointment and all day I was getting looks, but in a good way. I got like 2 compliments from random people. Let me tell that my suit was freaking on point. And I'm an ugly bastard. I was strutting around all damn day, and it felt good. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to die alone and potentially young. It's making it hard for me to care about planning for anything in the long term. I just cursed you to live a long and joyful life. Get wrecked. I do a job that requires me to follow very specific rules, but it's damn near impossible to do properly. I make the data work each time to complete my job. It's a don't ask don't tell thing from my boss. Edit. It's a blue collar job. Never told anyone. I was sexually assaulted a few years ago. In prison serving time for a non-violent drug offense. I'm a guy. I was assaulted by a guy. Maybe rape is the proper classification for what transpired. I have never, and I don't know, that I could ever tell anyone about it. I hope you are able to take all the steps you need to heal. You are not alone, and it was not your fault. And I'm sorry you had to experience that. Hugs to you. I have attachment anxiety. I probably shouldn't date until I resolve this. Edit. Tifu the gold. I'm hope this can help someone else try to work through their problems. Does that mean you get overly attached easily? I realized it's a fear that you won't have a successful long-term relationship leading to anxiety, that you will always be alone. I've dated several people long-term that never led to anything permanent, so I'm sure I'm sabotaging relationships to an extent or not picking the right people. Probably all on me. Now that I know it's a thing, I can seek help. Edit. I don't know entirely what it's all about, but I'm going to look into it more. Better late than never. I genuinely feel like most of my friends have forgotten about me. Same. Since school I acquired a majority of characters, but the closer I got to 30 the less I saw or heard from them. Now it's a minor select few, if they even count. I feel isolated in life and wish an unbiased friend would show a little interest / allow me to confide in them. I've talked my experience before, but I was a victim of accidental cannibalism, which means I have eaten human. The incident involves what I assume was some cartel trying to get rid of bodies by cooking them and serving as food for people to buy. Sweeney Todd style. I used to love that food until the news came out. Now I have this really incredible story I can't share with anyone because it's ducked up. And even if I share it, who is going to believe it? What kind of food? Like hamburgers? Empanadas? Stew? This story is crazy. I know the secret Bush family recipe. I regret reading the comments section. It was okay until that horse won. That broke me. I'm still trying to find this comment. My girlfriend always asks me about my exes, and I avoid it because she was my first at age of 25. Sat. Spill the beans as soon as you can. Because if she's the type of person to break it off with you because she was your first. You may not want to hear this, but she ain't going to be worth it on the long run. I'm a normal, educated, successful guy that sometimes like to wear women's clothes. It's 2020. The world is burning. Be or do whatever the duck you want, as long as it doesn't hurt people. I broke my instrument by accidentally shutting it in the door while trying to get away from my bandmate who had his dick out and was running around trying to rape me. This was middle school. In the band hall with no one else around. My band director just thought I was an idiot. I'm so sorry this happened to you, dude. Thanks, mate. I was alright though. Band director wrote it off as clumsiness. I was close to moving on to high school where I didn't have to deal with that guy anymore. Honestly, at the time I didn't even think of it as rape or sexual assault. I just thought it was awkward a gay dude was propositioning me. It never occurred to me he might have forced himself on me. At least I didn't come out of it psychologically or physically scarred. My sister-in-law's sister and I hooked up at her bachelorette party. That's my brother's wife's sister if you're confused. I'm also a woman, so it's a bit more of a scandal than your usual wedding shenanigans. On my Instagram, sometimes I add everyone to my close friends list and post an appreciation story privately to let people know that I'm glad they're all here. I love the impact the pandemic is having. I'm sad that people are dying, but as someone who was working myself to the bone or commuting to work, being forced to stop everything and spend all my time at home gave me so much more time with my family and doing what I enjoy. Unemployment is enough that I can survive, so suddenly I'm financially okay, but without a lot of suffering. I'm absolutely dreading having to go back and don't think I can without dealing with serious impact to my well-being. My twin girls were born the day before the state shut down. It's been awesome. My husband got to stay home for 4 months with pay because of it, and I got to stay home instead of going back to work 2 weeks after. Best timing ever. I'm glad you got that time with them. It is mind-boggling to me that you would have to be back at work 2 weeks after giving birth. I had a year mad leave each time and had a hard time going back. That I'm horribly lonely and depressed. I have social anxiety and I'm an introvert, so meeting people is difficult. Hating myself doesn't help any, and I wish I would just die, but unfortunately I'm too much of a chicken to do anything about that last part. I'm kinda scared of posting photos on internet. It just feels really weird random people can look at my photos like anytime they want. How much I actually weigh and how much this one piece of info has weighed on me. Edit. 333 pounds. Bro, I used to weigh 350. I've lost about 100 pounds due to being poor ASF. Do not recommend. People never really cared how much I weighed when I was that heavy. You just gotta own it. Most people couldn't guess my weight then, so I turned it into a challenge, lol. At the end of the day, people really don't care how much you weigh, as they usually have way better stuff to worry about. Even if they do, are you really going to care about what one judgmental prick has to say? Don't give assholes that power over your feelings. Much love. Good luck. I don't want to be in a relationship right now because I finally have a chance to figure out who I'm as a person on my own. As soon as I start seeing someone that's over, then I have to deal with someone else's feelings, wants and needs alongside my own. I'm 26 and I finally have this chance. And I'm damned if I'm going to waste it. I cuddle my pillow when I sleep every night. It's a long V pillow. Basically I use it like a body pillow. Little embarrassing. Edit. Thanks for all the kind words equals. Not a lot of people do that. I do that. Very comfortable. I like girls too much to be considered a straight woman. Well, maybe you aren't. I've just never dated or been with a woman, so it feels wrong to call myself bisexual. Sometimes, when I'm feeling real lonely, I'll get out my binoculars and watch you through my window. Can you help me find my keys? I'm a celibate 22-year-old virgin by choice. Sometimes I feel like this isn't something I can even share with online strangers because I feel like they'd just call me an incel or make fun of me. It's not that I can't get sex, date or anything. It's just that I don't want to have sex with another person. Fantasy wise, the thought is appealing, but in practice, it just puts me off. I can't even label myself asexual because I do experience sexual feelings and I have a desire to act on them, but at the same time I don't. I used to purposely cover my ex-GF's mouth with my hand during sex because I found her moans to be slightly annoying and would kind of distract me to the point where it was sort of hard to finish. Thankfully she was into the whole choking thing and thought that was hot, lol. Mom molested me, I'm a girl, from when I was age 9 until she died a couple years later. Dad knew but didn't do anything about it. Dad passed away, but I never brought it up with him. I've never told anyone except my therapist. None of my friends or family know. I'm afraid they'll love me less if they knew how broken I am. Had a drunken threesome at this married couple's hotel room. Went into the bathroom to throw up, but ended up shitting all over the towel on the ground. Bundled it up into my purse. went outside for a cigarette, and threw it away in a trash can. When my mom told me that she was divorcing my dad, I began laughing and covered it by pretending to cry. I showed my D//CK to 4 of my friends once, in the middle of class. One time in the middle of a high school French class, a guy pulled what he called the wristwatch on me. He asked me if I needed to know what time it was. I looked at him confused, because that's a weird question. He had a shit-eating grin on his face and gestured down with his head. When I looked down, I saw that he had his dick wrapped around his wrist. He thought it was hilarious. I had to hide my boner for the rest of class. I don't like my life. Too many bad things in last 3 months. I'm not actually Joseph Stalin and do not have a YouTube channel. My god. How could you lie to all of us like that? What next? Are we to believe you're not actually Gandalf and you don't have a Nintendo DS? I struggle with my past a lot. I don't know how to process it or accept it. It's like a permanently locked off part of my memory that hinders me and throws very bad memories at me. It is so ducking annoying. How often I've paid for sex. I always like to discover ways to abuse loopholes for everything. You technically never broke a rule if you ever get caught. It's true. Breaking out of prison in Germany and the Netherlands is your right. As long they don't catch you, it's not illegal. Breaking stuff or hurting someone while escaping is illegal. And in the Netherlands, if they get you after your escape, you're losing the possibility to get parole. So, as long they don't catch you, you're got to go. As long as they don't catch you, you're good to go. Isn't that just crime? I'm from a very religious family and a conservative town, yet I'm very gay. I know that's kind of a basic answer, but it feels so weird hiding such a big part of yourself from friends and family. That I have a real issue with food, and have been struggling with it for years and years. Don't worry, my body is healthy though. I catfished strangers on the internet for years using pictures of a girl I went to high school with. I stopped when I was 17. I'm now 30. I eventually came clean to the strangers, but would be horrified if the girl whose pictures I was using ever found out. I even had an online blog for my followers and created a whole other life for her. CRINGE. I have had sex in a confessional. I'd like to brag about this more, but it just isn't appropriate for polite conversation. I'd say taking the opportunity to brag about it is exactly the point of this thread. I lost my virginity to my stepbrother when I was in middle school. Also, am still working on the whole unconditional love thing towards my toddler son, and it makes me feel like a shitty parent. When I was 17, I aborted my pregnancy. Only my parents and an aunt, she found out by herself, know of this, and I have the strong feeling the rest my family would judge me if they found out. I'm pregnant. Just found out yesterday, and my partner and I promised we wouldn't tell anyone till I'm a little farther along. Been trying for what felt like the longest year. My brother was verbally abusive to me throughout my childhood. My therapist says I have PTSD and that I need to talk to my parents about it. But the last time I tried, they stopped me and said I was being too sensitive and that I need to be more empathetic to his situation. Has addicted to narcotics. Now I don't have it in me to tell anyone else out of fear that they'll react the same way. That through years of physical and sexual abuse, that I'm just waiting for one thing to go wrong before I snap and completely lose my mind. I had a friend in elementary and middle school who had a really bad home life and was severely depressed, but I didn't understand what it meant or how to deal with it back then, so I did nothing and ignored it. When he brought it up, he ended up committing suicide in high school. My husband recently found out his father is not his biological father. His mom didn't cheat. It was an error at the fertility clinic. They're understandably heartbroken and in the middle of a lawsuit about it. I'm secretly kind of relieved because his dad's family has terrible genes, and for years I had been worried about all the health problems my husband was likely to get when he was older. pretty sure I have some type of autism. I badly want to shout it to my family whenever they pick on me for not acting socially/emotionally in the right way, but I don't wish to guilt trip them for never catching on that something was wrong with me this entire time. Ducked my best friend's mother because he ducked my at the time girlfriend. Best sex ever. That I will never succeed cause sometimes I feel that I don't have chances in the outside world. Edit. Thanks to all the people that were so wholesome. Weird turn of events. I just landed my first job in an electronics shop. The reason I sometimes feel negative about myself is because I'm hugely disappointed in myself over a stupid mistake I did a few years ago. If I told them that, they would have asked what the mistake is, and I really don't want anyone to know about it. So my friends and families just thought I'm too hard on myself for no reason. If you still haven't got over it, maybe it's time to open up to someone and seek guidance. I've somewhat had wet dream like with my male best friend multiple times, but never with my boyfriend. That must be normal. It's like a forbidden fruit. I used to grab my aunt's breast when I was 15 over 16 and she would act asleep. Edit. Thanks for the responses. I stopped it after a couple of months out of guilt. Nowadays whenever we meet, we act as if it never happened. One time I stole a single wrapped large gummy bear when I was 6 from the store. There are long periods of time in my childhood that I can't remember, no matter how much I try. It's just absolutely blank. I started getting flashbacks in 2015. It was when I felt safe because of someone who had been in my life at the time. He's gone now. What I remembered terrified me. I have now actively chosen not to seek out what took place in those years. Sometimes I think about going back to my ex-husband just because I'm afraid no one else will ever love me and I don't want to be alone forever. I always tell everyone I hate children and I never want to have my own. But in reality I'm just scared I'm going to duck it up worse than me parents. I recently started to doubt whether my amazing boyfriend is really my soulmate, and it is so sad. I don't think I believe in the concept of soulmates, but there are people out there with compatibility you can round up to 100%. I hope you two can work together and figure out what's best. I made a throwaway for this one just in case. When I was a kid, I was a member of a swim team. I was at a meet one night, and I really had to piss. Problem was, my heat was about to come up. Now, I was about to ducking burst, but the bathroom was all the way across the pool. It was a big pool. So instead of running all the way there and potentially risking missing my heat, I instead decided to piss on a nearby tree. The kicker? There were people sitting all around it. See, in my 8-year-old brain, I thought that nobody would notice it so long as I covered my dick with my hands. They noticed. I am a cowardly piece of shit and ducked up beyond repair and lazy ass duck. I'm not suicidal as in I would never harm myself, but sometimes I just want the pain to end and I think about it. My cousins, both 15F, made me play with them when I was made to take a bath or sleep with them. It was a lot of pinching, biting, sucking and fingering. I was 4 when it started, 7 when it ended. I think there's something mentally wrong with me, and I don't know what, and I don't know how to get it checked, and I don't want or know how to tell anyone, and it scares me. The only thing about mental health I've ever seen in the UK was a sign for Samaritans on the side of a bridge. I'm pretty sure my family has covered up a sexual assault in my past. Offhand comments and vague memories of psychologist visits are the only threads I can find to pull on, but have led nowhere. Worst part is I have no memory of anything happening, but I have this feeling in my gut that I was both victim and aggressor in 2 separate instances. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.